Speaking now to Paul Ingram. He is a nuclear disarmament expert and the Director of Emergent Change, and he joins us now from Barmouth in the UK. Welcome to the programme. How would you describe, Paul, the legacy of today's anniversary, 75 years later?
Well, you could see it in all sorts of different ways. It is extraordinary that a nuclear weapon has not been used in the last 75 years. They have been central to the way in which big states have reacted to each other over that period. We see no signs of states relinquishing those nuclear weapons. And I think part of that is wrapped up with the myths and the legacy of this particular explosion that you are seeing on your screens, because the myth here is that this ended the war, it saved lives, and brought a terrible 6 years to a conclusion. And the reality is much more complex, and actually it's wrapped up with the way the Soviets entered into conflict with Japan just a few days before, and the historians find the myth associated with the nuclear weapons very controversial. But it's important today because it's wrapped up with this idea that nuclear weapons bring peace, that the threat of overwhelming destruction brings you what you need, that big sticks rule. And we have a president in the White House that is very much attached to this idea that you threaten, cajole, and talk down and be aggressive to people. That's how you get what you want. Mm-hmm. And it's very destructive to international relations.
And tell us, where exactly are international efforts to end nuclear proliferation? Have they failed, would you say?
They haven't failed. I think if there were no efforts to try to contain the spread of nuclear weapons, we would indeed have had many, many more countries than we have today. Today we have 9 states that possess nuclear weapons, 5 of them formally recognized under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. We would have seen far more countries had there not been supreme diplomatic efforts over the last 75 years to stop the spread. But of course, those controls and those efforts have been unwinding quite rapidly in recent years. Mm-hmm. We've had the abandoning of the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty, the Open Skies Treaty, and resistance to the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. And we could well see the end of the last arms control treaty that constrains the United States and Russia. Mm-hmm. next year. It's extremely worrying, and I think that we are at a turning point. Had COVID not hit the world this year, we would have seen the 50th anniversary review meeting of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and I think states, including Japan, would have seen it as a success at that point. But it's teetering on a knife edge.
Thank you so much. Paul Ingram, a nuclear disarmament expert, Director of Emergent Change. Thank you so much for your analysis today.